Ladies, are you with a divinely masculine man? I'm going to give you all the steps that you need to know whether or not your man is a divinely masculine man. All you have to do is just follow his archetype. So, three things: God is divine, that we are made in his image, and that we are to mirror the creator. So, if you really want to know this about men, that you ultimately have to then begin to follow their archetype, that their archetype should mirror that of God. I always tell people that the story of Genesis in the Bible is really the only story that you really need to know, okay? And that it is the Genesis story for a reason, because all other stories, all other archetypes, all other understandings of human relationships, of our relationship to nature, of our relationship to ourselves, of our relationship to our partners, can then be explained through the allegory of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. And that also includes how we are divinely, shaped through God, how we possess a degree of the divine masculine within ourselves as men, and how you as women possess the degree of the divine feminine within yourselves as women. Alrighty, here are the steps to understanding whether or not the man that you're with is divinely masculine. So you have the first one is you have to land and touch earth. So in the beginning, God separated the heavens and the earth, right? The heavens, from an archetypal perspective, is the archetype of the masculine, and the earth is the archetype of the feminine. And when God, being the embodiment of love, right, what he did was he landed, he touched earth. The second thing that he did was he grew a garden. God had to work. He grew a garden. The third thing that he did was, after he grew the garden, he then gave Adam a place to be. He placed him in the garden. And then the fourth thing is he asked Adam to tend, keep, and preserve the garden. The difference between how the modern man and gender nuanced men view their partners is comes down to the concept of desirability. So the modern man oftentimes sees women as being designed for him, which is an experience that we don't get over here on this side of the fence. Because the only way for a gender nuanced man to be attracted to a galleta is that you have to have a degree of desirability. So, for example, being androgynous, that makes you a designer. That another man can't see you as a man and see you as being designed for him. That is something that happens with men who are attracted to women. And as gender nuanced people, we are more aware of that because of the way that we touch earth, because of the degree of femininity that we have, that we ultimately understand that a man has to land for us as well. So, as gender nuanced people, we say that we are designer, we are an individuated expression of gender, we are a variegated gender identity, and ultimately, men look for companionship in other men. Whereas when it comes down to men and women, that oftentimes, because of society, because of the social dynamic, that sometimes men will see women as being designed for them, and they will then seek to then try to extract the yin component out of you, that degree of service, that degree of motherliness. They will extract that from you, as opposed to growing a garden with you, as opposed to landing, tending, keeping, and growing a garden with you the way that God did for Adam and Eve. Why may that be the case is typically because some men, they psychologically, like they physically leave the nest, but they haven't psychologically left the nest, and so they're still looking for a woman to mother them. I like to tell women sometimes that sometimes some men, they don't grow up, they just get bigger, and they are still looking for a woman to mother them. And when that happens, and what, or rather what that looks like, one of the signs that you can tell is that this man will see you as being designed, will see you as being designed for him, as opposed to you being his other half, as opposed to you being designer. So that's just a sign for you to look out for. That in companionship, you want him to walk with you. You want him to grow with you, and walk with you through this, garden, the way that God, being the embodiment of love, walked with Adam and Eve in the cool of the day. So, you see like a lot, especially nowadays, you see a lot of these red pill content creators that have, these really severe God complexes, and there is literally no love in what they're saying. They ultimately just are, from an archetypal perspective, they're just not grown up. They're just not really mature men. And that's one of the ways that you can tell based off of how a man has to land. So remember those steps. Remember those four crucial steps is that he has to land and touch earth, right? He has to then grow a garden, give you a place to be, tend, keep, and grow the garden with you. So that's just some nuggets to put in your back pocket, and some things that you look for the next time you find someone that you think might be interested in you. Just kind of think about those things, that you don't want a man to just buy you flowers, that you really want someone to grow a garden with you, because you are a flower. And the power within is being the most in.